shy.
You went straight on the phone. The wrong time, girl. Not the one.
This will not end well. This will not end well. It will end in tears.
Whoa!
I don't want to see it.
Oops. Oh, man.
That's Liza. I would leave like I was
I was
there.
not part of it. 1 inch.
Very close. Also, can we get those videos where, you know, like people are like so close to death, but like they survive? It's like,
I survived.
right. 9 lives. A cat. Be a cat.
You have 9 lives. Try not.
No. No.
Yo.
What a
Oh, what a
waste.
waste of alcohol.
What a freaking waste.
The way you ran.
Shit.
Actually, I just buy him for just the waste. If it was water, it's fine.
Please grab 1 bottle. Save some.
Something. Instructions doesn't work. I turn those things on. Oh, Manila.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's me.
I'm gone. Wait, what happened there? What happened there? Did he trip and fall or what happened?
And it hit his head. And then I think he started walking. And then whether he
for a
missed a
man.
step or he fainted.
Also, the sun is just standing there. Like, okay, I get it. You're going, but where are you going?
Maybe.
Like where you also? It's
No,
just,
but maybe, you know, the sun was grounded. So now it's
Yeah.
like nice punishment.
Yeah, you grounded me.
Do you understand that you spend the rest of your life working with no salary because that's what you did?
Joe,
Yeah, Is it soda or beer?
it's beer, soda.
If it's soda, it's okay, guys. Like, you know.
Bona Lamot, it's written Puma. On the side, babe. Hey, I'm sure
Puma.
Naya from that side. Yes.
Yeah. Give it to a dog. And then you need to undo it to do it again.
The emoji kills me.
And you know how trash smells? And he
Literally
literally,
that he has to pick it up.
he literally has to pick it up. Not with the truck, but with his hand. He must have gloves. He will take 2 showers when he gets home. Because he was so
He was like, I hate this shop. Expensive liquor delivery.
Oh! No!
Shampompo, likashu, yakashumba.
Good evening and welcome to Mo Sports. My name, as usual, is Mo. On the gram, I go by Mokhomuti_Sititi. And I'm not alone, I'm joined by Obi Knows. On the gram, he still goes by Obi Knows, but some people know him as Obageng Ngobe. And he's joining me today because he's always here to co-pilot Mo Sports alongside myself. Well, on tonight's show, we kick off with the Mo Riddle. We talk about pizza just a little bit before we talk about the top 5 European leagues. A lot of upsets coming through there, but it's based on what's happening in continental competition. So let me hit you with this thing, and when we come back, we'll talk about the Mo Riddle. Then we'll have to definitely talk about pizza. All right, so the Mo Riddle goes like this. As usual, go to Twitter, it's Mo_Sports TV, and that's where you can answer the Mo Riddle. But now that we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, you can just go in the comment section below. We'll check it afterwards. We'll let you know if you're a winner or not. It goes like this. I'm American. I spent most of my career playing in England. I played more than 400 top flight games in England. I was part of the national team that faced Brazil in the Confederations Cup in South Africa. That basically means in 2010. So I'll repeat it for you. I'm American. I spent 400 games basically playing in the top flight of English football. I've played for the national side. I've even played in the Confederations Cup against Brazil in 2010. So who is this man? Obi knows.
Yeah.
Any other clues that you can give us?
Any other clues? Well, after he left the Premier League, he joined a team called Toronto FC, and that's as far as I can go.
All right, that's as far as Obi knows can go. But now we need to celebrate an African giant. Well, in fact, a South African giant who's making history on the earth. Besides the continent, the world, the earth, the galaxy, whatever you name it, planet football, this man is writing his name in stone. This man's name is Pitso Mosimane. This man went on to Al Ahly to win a treble just 3 months after he had won a treble with Mamelodi Sundowns. And get this, he's not done because this final saw him draw 1-1. That was the Egyptian Cup final. Yeah. And then they went to penalties and he won 3-2. But this is not the last trophy of the season for him. He still has one more trophy to come collect, one more winner's medal to collect, and he'll be taking his tally up this season alone by 7 trophies.
That's incredible. I mean,
by 7 trophies.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that this would be the Pitso Mosimane of last season? I mean, no one thought that he would be leaving Mamelodi Sundowns following obviously the treble win. Yeah. And his move to Al Ahly obviously sparked a bit of questions into people's minds. A lot of people saying, but you've always said that the Northern Africans don't respect the Southern Africans. So why are you going there?
But the question now remains: do they respect him now?
Of course. I mean, you have to give him the respect.
Double,
double trebles.
Double treble winner with 2 clubs, Southern Hemisphere and Northern Hemisphere, in Africa in one season. And he still has to play the Super Cup, the AFCON Super Cup. Now, this game takes off on Thursday. So by the time 2020 ends, just the year 2020, Peter would have collected himself
about 7 trophies.
Wow, about 7 winners' medals. I mean, his trophy cabinet must be shocked. Like, if I was his trophy cabinet, I'd be like, dude, where are you getting all of these things from? Are you buying these things?
Peter's doing great. He's doing absolutely great for himself as a manager personally. I mean, coming from South Africa, obviously, a lot of questions were raised. Like I did just say, you also mentioned last week that the owner of the president of Zamalek actually came out and said, this guy, how is he achieving so much? Having just got there, why are we giving him so much credit when he's just got? I mean, the team had already won the league title. He just had to make sure that they win those 2 trophies that were available, and he did so. So it raises another question, I guess, to the Egyptians. That they want to know how he'll perform next season, and I think that's going to be the ultimate test to see if he can, actually raise the bar next season.
And don't forget this about Pitso. I mean, in the Egyptian Cup on its own, he didn't get there while they were already in the finals. They were in the quarterfinals when he arrived. He got them to the quarterfinals and semifinals and won the final with that side. So you can't say that he basically came in and then he took the reins and he was just lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time. I mean, he actually put in the hours and he actually got the results out of that. Obi knows it's time for us to travel to the PSL and see what's been happening in the DStv Premiership. I mean, it's been a round of draws. Yeah. Like so many teams getting draws. I know Pirates got themselves a draw. Mamelodi Sundowns also gave themselves a draw against the bottom side by all means. I mean, this is a bottom side that didn't have points at all before they faced Sundowns. And a lot of people, when we put our money on the games, they always say, but look, Maritzburg United didn't even reach the point to this point. So now, why must we even put money on anything else but a Sundowns draw? But then they come on to the pitch, they come on with a different strategy. Ennis Middendorp is like, guys, let's sit back, right? Let's sit back, edge of the box, let Sundowns come to us. And this is evident when you look at how the shots on target were actually accumulated. Because if you see a game Wahlompo Kekana takes 2 shots from distance.
You know there's a problem.
You know that there's a
You're
big
doing
problem.
something very well, actually. I mean, if Sundowns are restricted to Hlompo Kekana having to take, shots from outside the box, and mind you, Hlompo Kekana hasn't started the game since the season started, so this was his first start.
And he made such a mistake also on the edge of the box and gave away the ball.
Yeah.
It almost resulted in a goal for Maritzburg United.
Look, Mamelodi Sundowns obviously now they'll be looking at reasons why they didn't win this game, and they'll have to look back to the loss against Bloemfontein Celtic in the MTN 8. I mean, it was the same type of football from the opposing side, obviously sitting back and allowing them to play, and taking into consideration that both the teams, that Maritzburg United and Bloemfontein Celtic, are teams that like to play the ball on the field. They had to restrict themselves, and they did that very well, and both of them also coming out with a positive result. So a good result for Maritzburg United.
So now, basically, Maritzburg United now are sitting on 5 draws and 1 win on the table. So basically, let's talk about another player at Sundowns who's making history. I mean, Thembas Wane getting his 6th goal of the season, and then next to him, Shaolile, two fantastic chances.
Yeah.
But no goal.
Yeah, look, you would have expected a Peter Shaolile to finish those type of attempts that he had. I mean, he's been impressive since obviously last season. He was very impressive for Highlands Park, and obviously it wasn't a surprise for Mamelodi Sundowns to sign him. He already showed that he can perform at Sundowns. He already has a couple of goals.
One thing I see from Shaolile is that in attack, he's very intelligent about where he places himself.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation I want to have later on about Olivier Giroud versus Timo Werner. That's one thing that you have to respect these kind of players for. The thing that makes Shaolile so special is the fact that when he takes those shots, with those opportunities, they made through clever running. They made through clever running. That's all he did. He ran it into clever spaces. While all the defenders, everybody was watching where the ball was going, he was anticipating where the ball would land. And that's how he ends up in those kind of positions. At that point, I mean, I have to give him some respect for that one chance where the ball was on the bounce and he tried to go through it, but he went underneath the ball. And that's where the problem is. I mean, it's a weaker foot as well. You don't expect such technique to come out from a weaker foot. But yet again, we're making excuses for a professional footballer.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Cape Town City, because I want us to talk about Jele and Screamer Shabalala, because now people are saying that who is the coach of Orlando Pirates, because now the instructions are all coming all the way from Screamer, going to the captain Ujele, and now who is calling the shots?
Look, it's a big question that obviously has been raised a couple of weeks ago. It's been a few weeks since the derby with Kaizer Chiefs when Pirates beat Kaizer Chiefs 3-0. It's always been a topic of conversation. There was a certain individual who actually said that Pirates are not coached by Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
He could even reference and saying that last season he played a certain type of way, and this season he's playing a different type of way. So it raised the question to me, asking myself, like, a coach is not allowed to change a philosophy.
You know why that person said that? In South African football, it's been a thing where the chairman cuts and chops the team. So if you go play at any other lower level of football in South Africa, most of the time the chairman is the one setting the scheme, he's the one making the tactics. The coach is just getting paid to stand and go, hey, I did son. You know what I'm saying?
It also raises a question. I mean, they're paying him so much money. I mean, he's a German international coach. He's a coach who has a UEFA license. He's a coach who's able to coach anywhere in the world. So I'm pretty sure he's getting quite a lot of money at Orlando Pirates. But why would you want to keep someone who's sucking out money if he is not calling the shots?
Well, I looked at the football on the pitch. Fine, whoever's calling the shots in terms of this and that, I hear him. It's fine. I believe you guys when you say that. But when I look at the football on the pitch, that's a German style of football that Orlando Pirates is playing. I mean, you look at how Orlando Pirates is deadly on the counter. But as soon as you sit in the box and you wait for them to throw in a cross, there is no Orlando Pirates. They can't get into they can't throw the ball in. They can't play it ugly. But as soon as they're on the counter, they're one of the most deadliest teams in the PSL.
For a team like Pirates, I think playing on the counter is a bit of putting themselves on the back foot. I mean, you are a team who's supposed to dominate games. I mean, I don't know which Orlando Pirates you grew up watching, but the Orlando Pirates I grew up watching was the Orlando Pirates that had, Bokif Leremi at the time, Bo Joseph Makanya. It's a team that controlled games. And at this point, I don't see a team that's controlling games.
Well, for me, Obi knows, I love that you mentioned that. But you're talking about the components of that team. You look at Vincent Pule, you look at La Pasa, you look at those guys, that's pace.
It is pace.
The best way to use pace is through counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
So I think Zimbabwe, given the chance, that let him call the shots fully, because that football that I see on the pitch is definitely something I've seen being done in Germany a lot. And I think that if Pirates stick to that, they'll be very deadly this season, especially because once you accept the footballing language that you want to play, look at Liverpool. When Liverpool came in with the gang pressing football, a lot of people are saying, but what is Liverpool doing? They couldn't win it ugly. And then as they evolve their style, I mean, it has to start off ugly. And then once it evolves, they'll be able to control the game, but know that with the pace that we have, we'll be able to kill teams with pace. Because Vincent Pule, the pace I saw in the counter, there was a point where they were countering and there was 8 men from the opposition side. But they were running so fast that they were between the lines of the 4 men, I mean the 3 men at the back, the 5 men here trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And there was 2 men, it was a 3 against 3. So by the time the pass came out, the center half had already stepped in.
Yeah.
So he eliminated himself. And that's how the Vincent Pule got that second goal.
Yeah.
That counter-attacking football, if Pirates can just, clean that football.
Look, I think one thing they really need to clean up. I mean, like looking at, if you reflect into the Liverpool side once again, I mean, one thing they did well was obviously, press. Immediately when Jurgen Klopp came into the team, they were pressing very high. And if Pirates are going to do that as well, you need to make sure that your centre backs are of good quality. I mean, at this point, you have Tyson who's playing with Nyauza. Nyauza who's very... You can't really, depend on him to be someone who's going to be a mainstay in that team. I mean, what's happening with Happy Jelle? I think he might be a better component in that team because, if you are going to be sitting back and waiting to hit the team on counters, then you should be making sure that at the back you're very solid. I mean, they did bring in the likes of the goalkeeper, Ofori, but in the past, obviously, the last 2 games, you could say that, the goals he conceded were quite, easy goals. I mean, the goal he conceded yesterday, he was wrong-footed, and you could say that the spin of the ball was a problem. But all those
You're just making excuses for these people.
I can't be making excuses for them.
Let's go to the Bundesliga because if you don't get there now, we will never go. So let's take this thing and then when we come back, we'll go straight to the Bundesliga. Right, so we're back. Now we need to talk about what's happening in Germany. But before we start talking about what's happening in Germany, don't forget to SMS Supa TV to 30978 and then join in on the fun. Let's talk football. Let's bet on football. Let's see who knows football better than the other. So now, yesterday the Berlin derby took place and it ended in a 3-1 win for Union Berlin, while Dortmund also, without Erling Haaland not getting any 3 points. They had to settle for the draw. And then now let's talk about Bayern Munich versus RB Leipzig by going to the website and seeing what's been going on in that game. After that, we'll come back because there's a picture of Muller that I want to show you and want to talk about how this man got himself a brace in this picture. So the website is superbets.co.za and this is how it looks. Obi knows, can you navigate for us?
Yeah.
So now let's go all the way to what's happening in Germany. So that's what's happening in Germany. As you can see, Bayern Munich are sitting top, Leipzig is sitting second, and Dortmund is sitting third. What I wanted us to look at to start with is that Leverkusen is sitting fourth right now, right? But they have a game in hand on the top 3. If they get that win, and guess what? They are getting that win. If they get that win against Schalke 04, they will leapfrog Leipzig and Dortmund. They'll be sitting on 22 points. So now that draw that Leipzig put together against Bayern is now beneficial for Leverkusen because they'll be that much closer, just 1 point behind Bayern Munich. But let's go down and see how this result basically will affect Schalke 04. So Schalke 04 are sitting all the way down at number 18. They have not won a game this season. They've drawn 3 and lost 6. But right now, as we speak, let's go to the fixture so we can see what's happening there. Here there's an own goal that took place right now against Schalke 04. So Schalke 04 are behind by 1 goal, and that's basically based on the fact that it was an own goal from Cloud. So Obi knows all the way down there on the 6th of December. Let's click on that game. Let's see what's happening in this game. Right now, as you can see, it's first half. It's just been the first half, 15 minutes played. Already they're trailing 1-0. Obi knows, did you expect Schalke to get points out of this game, or did you know that? You know what? With Schalke right now, in the form they're in, they're not a team that we remember, especially in the Bundesliga, because since Jan, not being able to pick up all 3 points since Jan is a big blow.
Yeah, that's literally a whole calendar year without a win. I mean, who's going to give you any hope of beating a team that's sitting in the top 4? I mean, at this point, Schalke, like I said at the beginning of the season, after the first string of losses, I did say that I don't think they are going to survive this season. I mean, everything that's happening in the background is also affecting what's happening on the field. It's very clear right now that they're not going to survive. All
right, so let's go straight to a break because when we come back, we'll have to talk about what's happening elsewhere. I mean, there's been a lot of fun in terms of the big clubs, except for Barcelona, who Cadiz, out of nowhere, beat Barcelona, and now they're sitting 5th. Barcelona have a couple of games in hand, but we'll do the math and see where does that put them if they collect all 6 points. We'll be back right after this.
Superbets is bigger than ever with Global Bet Virtual Games. A first for Mzansi. Exclusive to Superbets. Win up to 500 tower on Premier Virtual Disky, basketball, camel racing, supercars, horse racing, Super 6, spin and win, and more. Join our Global Bet community of winners. Sign up now to claim your free 50 Rand bet. Visit superbets.co.za and bet with the biggest.
Welcome back to More Sports. Well, most definitely, don't not forget to SMS Supa TV to 30978. And look, we have to start the conversation off with what's happening with Barcelona. So Ronald Koeman's men go into this game and they lose. They lose. It's not even a Tronyana, not even against Cadiz. I mean, some of you who don't watch football every day, I wonder who's this Cadiz side.
Yeah.
But they're sitting fifth now on the league because of this win. But they're not the only team from Spain that we have questions about. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna not waste any time. Let's start talking about Ronald Koeman. Let's take a picture up of Ronald Koeman so you can see who exactly we're talking about. I mean, this is the man who's coaching. He's coaching Lionel Messi. He has Coutinho in that side, but he's failing to break down a side like Cadiz.
Yeah, look, Ronald Koeman, for me, at the beginning of the season when I heard of the news that, Ronald Koeman is going to join Barcelona, immediately I thought, oh, this might just be a success, I have seen what he has done at Southampton, I have seen what he's done at Everton, so I thought it would be testament to what he was going to do at Barcelona. But at this point, it's not looking very promising because when last you see Barcelona languishing in like 8th place, and just a couple of weeks ago they were sitting on like number 12. It's not looking very great. I mean, I do understand that the team is going through some turmoil overall, but some things don't have to change. I mean, you have the quality players in that team. You still have, players who finished second last season. These are players who have been part of this team for quite some time.
Let's move on to the table so we can show you exactly what we mean in context of superbets.co.za. Let's go to the website. Let me show you what I mean. I have a big question here because Sevilla are behaving like they're not the champions of the Europa League. They didn't play in the Super Cup against Bayern Munich because now they lost to. Let's start off by the fixtures. We'll come back to the table. They lost to a whole Real Madrid side that is actually struggling right now. A Real Madrid side who, in midweek, their fate will be decided. Sevilla have already secured their passage through. They have 10 points in their Group E in the Champions League. But now they are losing to a Real Madrid side that needs the points midweek as well. And this is one thing I always wondered about Sevilla. Like, Sevilla are a big side in context of European competition. But once they go back to La Liga, it's like the threat is gone. It's like they become just another La Liga side who is just like, okay, the league belongs to Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, which for me feels like this team is actually a good team, but they're not living up to their billing because you can't win the Europa League 6 times. You are the record holders. You come out of a season where you just won the Europa League, and then now you're losing to Real Madrid. That's wounded without Sergio Ramos. They're playing with guys at Benzema that when the ball was looked up in the air, he was alone with the goalkeeper. He couldn't get the ball across the line. A Real Madrid that Vinicius Jr. celebrated a goal that was not his. It was an own goal by the goalkeeper. And then you're looking at that side and you're thinking, wow, okay, fine. They're changing people's jersey names into nicknames, Vini Jr. But they're getting 3 points that are decent 3 points.
Look,
so
I understand what you're saying about Real Madrid, but we cannot forget the fact that it is still Real Madrid. They might be losing games, but they still have. They might be winning games in a very unusual format, in an unusual way. But you still need to give credit where it's due because they still have the structure, which is what's keeping these teams out. I mean, we can't all be always looking at the fact that
you're looking at a midfield that won a treble of Champions League titles. Kroos, Casemiro, and Modric.
Not the same players anymore.
You know what I'm saying? They're in their twilight years now. You need to let go of that midfield. You look at a front three that's built around someone who's aged, like someone who's played as a second string option for some of the greatest players to have ever graced the blades at the Bernabeu. So you're looking at a team that's not balanced. It's not. You can't respectively say that Real Madrid at this point is balanced because you're looking at Benzema in the middle, Vini Jr. You look at Vasquez playing in the back. Quadrado's playing at the back, but he's doing a lot better. Okay, fine. Let's move on to the table because I don't want to cry a lot about what's happening in Madrid. Let's go to the table and see basically what's happening there. Obino's navigating for us. So the reason why I'm crying about Real Madrid is because they are currently holding the title. But look at them. They're sitting number 3. They have 20 points. That's already 6 points off the pace from against Atletico Madrid, who have 2 games in hand, while Real Madrid only has 1 game in hand. So said that kick off later on tonight, and they're sitting on 24 points. They pick up all 3, they'll be moving on to 27, and that will be at just a point above Atletico Madrid. Like I said, Atletico Madrid, if they get their 2 games in hand handled, they go straight to number 1. So this table is quite a clean reflection of what's going on at this current moment. But don't forget that Sociedad are playing in the 12th round of La Liga Santander, and that's why when they play their game, they'll go to number 1. But Atletico Madrid will be expected to win their 2 games in hand, and that's why we consider them to be the current log leaders. We're looking at Barcelona all the way down there at number 9. Don't forget that Barcelona have 2 games in hand. But even if they get those 2 games in hand, they go up to 20 points. That means they're even with the likes of Real Madrid and Villarreal. But don't forget, Madrid and Villarreal also have a game in hand. So they'll be placed somewhere there above Cadiz, who have 18 points on the table. So that's how the table is looking right now. Very confusing for those of you that are joining us for the first time, because a lot of teams have a game in hand, and that's how they were doing in Europe. They performed well in Europe, and that's why they have a game in hand. The other team is just basically because they had fixtures that were tied to those teams, but they couldn't play those fixtures, hence they have a game in hand as well. But this is a real reflection of what's going on, and Real Madrid right now don't even deserve to be in the top 4, because they've been dropping points at the most useless of junctures, including Barcelona and Sevilla as well. I mean, Sevilla has been dropping points all season. Atletico Madrid has been the team that when they do drop points, it's a draw. But here comes my favorite team, guys. Let's go down to the bottom, Obinos. Look at my team, sitting rock bottom, number 20, Huesca. The reason why I love this team so much, guys, Huesca has thrown 8 games and lost 4. They're sitting rock bottom with 8 points, but now it's starting to get dire. So now the coach needs to find these 3 points from somewhere, because if he doesn't, he's going to be off the pace, and because if he gets all 3 points in the next game, he's level with Osasuna, which is not a good thing, because they're still in the relegation zone by just a point.
Yeah, look, Huesca, you were really celebrating the fact that, you know, you could understand how they were trying to lay out this season by getting a lot of the draws, you know, just not losing games. But it's looking a bit tricky right now, like you are saying, you know, another draw could, you know, make sure that they stay off the pace. I mean, at some point, they're gonna Levante's going to have 12 points, Osasuna's going to have 12 points. Then they're going to need to catch a 3-point win. So it's looking very dire right now. I mean, where are the 3 points going to come from at this point?
At this point, the 3 points will have to come against Alvarez, because that's where they play next. Alvarez will be visiting them, so hopefully they'll be able to win. But don't forget that Alvarez also, they've been a little bit of the draw kings. As you can see, they've also had 4 draws out of 11 games. So this is going to be an interesting one. Will it be a draw, or will someone pick up the 3 points? I mean, Huesca in the last round. Let's go back to fixtures one last time before we go to League 1, because I want to show you how Huesca got these 3 points. I mean, Huesca just tacticians of the 3 points. I mean, the draw. Let's go down the winners. That's the right round number 12. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Where is Huesca? As you can see, they play Granada. Look at that. Tacticians, tacticians, my children. 3-3 at full time. So they weren't even playing. It's not that they can't get the goals. They do get the goals. But they get the goals that you get. So it's one of those things. Let's take a sting, and when we come back, we have to talk about what's happening in France. I mean, we have to cover the whole of the top 5 European leagues. So let's see what's happening in the home of PSG. We won't be spending a lot of time on it, because PSG, it's a one-man show. They're pulling a shame. We'll be back right after this. So let's not talk a lot about what's happening in League 1. Let's just show you. Obinos, can we definitely go to the website, because this one, it just needs evidence. So as you can see, PSG, let's look at their form first. The form is on the top, is on the right-hand side of the screen. As you can see, they've played their last 6 games, and they've won 4 and drawn 1 and lost 1. So basically, that draw and that loss came in succession, and then we were thinking, no, there's trouble in paradise there. But then I feel like the players are also like, we want Thomas Tuchel to buy, but we don't also want to lose the league. So now they're sitting at 28 points, 2 points above Lille. But don't forget that they faced Montpellier in the previous game, and that loss put Montpellier at 23 points. So right now, as you can see, the top 3, top 4 is looking very familiar. Lille sitting in 2nd, Marseille sitting in number 3, Lyon sitting in number 4, Montpellier and Monaco 5 and 6. So now let's go to the bottom of the table, because Dijon, a team that is sitting rock bottom, managed to get themselves 3 points in the last game. And that's something that actually is a big shocker, because we thought that Lyon, basically as usual, Dijon as usual will be dropping the points, but they needed the 3 points. I mean, without that 3 points, Obi they would be, they're still rock bottom. But without the 3 points, they would be off the pace. And at this point, they're just trying to keep up with the pace, and look at where the 3 points put them. The 3 points puts them on 8 points, which allows them to still negotiate the way out of that dire situation. So that's what's happening in League 1. So what we'll do is that we'll take a break, so we can have more time to talk about what's happening in the Premier League, because I know a lot of people have questions. I mean, Crystal Palace 5-0, guys. 5-0.
It's a lot.
Juventus, Ronaldo having trouble to get goals, even having a goal disallowed. There's a lot going on in Europe, and I'm about to tell you about it. Don't go anywhere.
Escape from the hustle of the daily grind. Enter a world of fun and entertainment. Feel the thrill of glamour and delight. Be part of the game, the risk, the excitement. Reach for the dreams. Bet on the chance where you could walk away the winner. For a moment, live the high life in the name of fun. Play from wherever you are. Online gaming brings the fun to you. Instant games. It is what it is. Super Bets.
Welcome back to More Sports. Me and Obi are excited about, as every time we do More Sports, Obi knows is counting down the leagues all the way to the Premier League because he wants to complain about the likes of Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, all these coaches. And I've been hearing that there's conversations about, because you know that Steven Gerrard has extended his unbeaten run with the game that he played today. Now, and 4 goals. Jermaine Defoe getting a goal in the last minute. So a lot of people are starting the conversation. The conversation is starting to go like this. When does Klopp step aside and Steven Gerrard come into the seat? Also, people are saying that, hey, there's a lot of suitors calling up Steven Gerrard like, yo, bro, can you come do what you're doing there in Scotland, here in our leagues? So the conversation about Stevie G is not over. As you know, yesterday we did celebrate the man, but I think midweek we'll have to dissect what's going on in there. Maybe we'll do a special, Pito Misiman and Stevie G, because some of these coaches are not being celebrated. We celebrate the big names, the traditional big names, your Carlo Ancelotti's. Even Lampard at this moment because he won. We celebrate him, but let's talk about what's happening in Italy. We have to start off with the Turin derby, then we'll have to move on to what happened with Inter Milan. So let's go to the website so I can show you how to navigate the Italian Serie A. Oh, we know, let's go in there. As you can see, AC Milan sitting number 1, 9 games played. In their last 6, 2 draws and 4 wins. And that's how it looks for them. The picture's quite clear. They're sitting at number 1, 23 points on the board. Inter has 18 and they're sitting at 2nd. And then as you can see, Sassuolo in 3rd. Did they play Inter in the last game? They played Inter in the game before they played Bologna, but that's still, they're sitting at 3rd. Juventus is sitting at 4th. And to be honest with you, Juventus in this last game here, they almost lost it.
Yeah.
They almost lost. When I say they almost lost it, I'm not saying it just because I'm trying to be funny. I'm saying it in the sense of it was so tricky, it was so on the fringes that this is a game that Inter Milan deserved to lose. Obi knows, talk to me.
You're referring to the Juventus game, yeah?
Yeah, the Juventus game.
Yeah, well, look, you could see the relief on the faces of the players once Bonucci scored that winning goal. I mean,
in the last minute,
they could see that this game was out of reach. I mean, it was a very tough game for them. Playing against a team that is sitting in 18th place, so it was obviously going to be a task where most of the players will be complacent, so it would be the manager needing to obviously communicate the players and letting them know not to take this game lightly. And obviously it was a Turin derby as well, so Torino was going to come out all guns blazing. I mean, I don't know why Juventus didn't see this one coming, but at least they didn't lose the game. They'll be happy that they didn't lose the game. They almost did, but they'll be very happy that they didn't.
Well, as you can see, Bonucci getting a goal in the last minute, and the goal's coming from unlikely sources, while Winston McKenzie getting the first goal for this team. So let's go to the fixtures, quickly check out what's going on there, and then we are done, dusted. We'll go see what's happening elsewhere. So basically, Serie A, same old programming. I mean, Juventus getting the 3 points. But you know what I love most about that win for Juventus? It showed that Juventus as a side are more than capable of collecting the ugly points. Not just collecting points basically based on we play beautiful football. That was an ugly win. Yeah. Because they were not in the first half, they were non-existent. Second half, I mean, they had to pull up their socks somehow. So as you can see, Lazio picking up 3 points, Juventus picking up 3 points, Inter picking up 3 points. That was on the 5th of December. And then on the 6th, as you can see, which is today, this has been going on. It's just been draws. Benevento, Parma, draw. Roma, Sassuolo, draw. It's been draws. It's just been draws. So it's not been an interesting situation in Italy. Obi knows. Wrap it up for me. Tell me, what did you think of this round of fixtures in Italy?
Look, this round of fixtures in Italy, obviously one thing I'm looking forward to is that Milan game at the end of the day. I really want to see AC Milan move forward because some of these teams, they still trying to catch a wake-up call. I mean, Juventus is still struggling a little bit, but nonetheless, I'm very glad that you did mention the fact that, you know, they managed to get the scrappy wins. Even on a bad day, they can pull up and get a win or a draw, you know. So there is some pros and cons of this league at this point. But, you know, one thing for sure is that I would love to see Juventus not lift that 10th one.
All right, so now what I'm excited about is that come Tuesday, Juventus will be taking on Barcelona, and now we'll have to see Messi versus Ronaldo for the first time since it took place in the El Clasico. So last time, it was because of COVID-19, we missed out on Ronaldo. So it was like half the fixture was there. It was like, where was the other guy? Where's the other big name? But this time, the man is back. So we'll have to take a little break on Monday, on Tuesday. But when we come back, we're going to be dissecting that one. We'll be talking about whether it's Messi or Ronaldo. The chat will have to continue. So now let me hit you with the EPL thing, the Premier League thing. When we come back, we have to talk about what's going on in the Premier League. So I believe that there's a live match tracker available for us as Tottenham Hotspurs versus Arsenal. So we'll have to start off there before we move on to the conversation one I have about Chelsea versus Leeds. Don't forget that Bielsa famously, when Lampard was a derby coach, he went to send spies to go check on the derby side that was coached by Lampard. But this time it looks like his spies didn't quite see Giroud coming. And the reason why I say they didn't see Giroud coming is because Giroud, the first initial chance at goal, the one that was cleared off the line by Timo Werner, was basically a Giroud header. Because I had to watch that in super slow-mo. I had to pause, rewind, super slow-mo, and I had to see whose head is this. Let me see the head, and maybe I can understand where this header came from. That header came from Giroud. And then Timo Werner cleared it off the line.
Yeah, look, it's just one of those things. I mean, like Timo Werner, obviously with the striker's instinct, once you see the ball coming towards, the goal, you want to tap it in and maybe, get a goal for yourself. And it was honestly striker's instinct. It was just, obviously a misjudgment of the height of the ball, making him, kick the ball underneath. And also, it was very terrible.
Defending this man.
I'm not defending him at all. I'm just explaining exactly what happened.
Last time I saw something like that happen was when PSG were playing in Ligue 1, and then basically what happened was they beat the goalkeeper. I think it was Neymar beat the goalkeeper, took a shot, right? And then on the line, Choupo-Moting was there. So Choupo-Moting then, instead of shooting the ball on the line, he stops the ball. And then after he stops the ball, he tries to hit it, it hits the bar, somebody clears it out. This was literally Mbappe's reaction because he saw it happen and then he looked at the screens because he wanted to make sure.
Is that what it is?
Is this what it is? So you can go on YouTube and see that Choupo-Moting miss, and that's how bad Werner's miss was. That was a goal from Giroud, but why would get battling?
Yeah.
Leave that ball again. It's none of your business. And then he had two furthermore misses, big misses, by the way, really big misses. Two more big misses in that game. And then after that, he looked like a man with no confidence in front of the Stamford Bridge faithful. And then he got himself an assist in the last minute for Pulisic. But that I feel like his confidence is not helped by the fact that Giroud's getting the goals. Tammy Abraham, if he comes on and gets the goals, it's going to be, but why did you guys sign Timo Werner? That's been my question all season.
Look, Timo Werner, obviously now we are seeing a bit more of Timo Werner than we ever have. We did see him in the Champions League. That was obviously the time we could actually watch Timo Werner with Leipzig. I think one thing we're really understanding and seeing from Timo Werner is that he's a very hard worker. He's a workaholic. He will do what it takes to get into that box. And it's very unfortunate that I think he's very impatient with himself as well. I think he lacks a lot of composure because, all of these things are probably running in his mind. I haven't got a goal. Giroud scoring.
You know what's running in his head? Torres. Morata. Am I next? What's running in his head?
Obviously, it's going to run in his head because he doesn't want to be a flop at Chelsea. I mean, they did pay a lot of money
big
for
money.
him. Yeah, but look, he really needs to settle himself down. It's not going to be the manager's duty to do this because he has the talent. He has the talent, and that's why he was signed. And I think it's a thing of reflection, him sitting down and thinking.
I think also the media has diluted the skills of footballers because before we see these players, we hear a lot of hype about them. But the hype is always about their pace. The hype is always about what they're doing in other teams. But like we said, the English football, the Premier League is a whole different ballgame. And what's hard for Timo Werner is that he's in a team that doesn't play to his strengths. That's the key thing. That's why I keep saying, why did they sign him? Because they don't play to his strengths. If they play to his strengths, Giroud would be struggling and he'd be the one succeeding. But you look at what's happening there, Giroud right now, he's catching every ball that comes into that box. I mean, Giroud is landing every header, Giroud is landing every volley. And then when you look at Werner has to collect the ball from deep, run at the offense, and then beat someone to take the shot. They're not playing to his strengths currently.
I think if you look back at his playing days at Leipzig, you'll actually see that a bit of what he's doing now is what he was doing at Leipzig. I mean, the player was playing up front, like I always said, was Yusuf Paulson, and he's pretty much of the same of Giroud's stature. He's quite tall, and he's one who can win the ball and lay it off for Timo Werner to run onto, you know. So I feel like it's a bit more moving into, you know, his style of play. Nonetheless, I just think confidence is a big issue at this point for him, and I think Christian Pulisic should
what
be
you said
given
is
a chance.
beautiful, because I know that Giroud won't lay it off for him. Giroud's going to take the shot. I mean, that's what Giroud's been known for. If he gets the ball in the box, shot, net. That's all he cares about. Let's move on to United versus West Ham United. Well, West Ham United picked up the early goal, and then United came from nowhere to win it back. I thought Cavani would be key in that game, because I thought Cavani would be the one to get the results. You know, I thought you'd pull off another last week a brace, you know what I mean? And looking at what he did on the weekend, what he did midweek, I was not expecting to see him go off at half-time.
Look, it's one of those things where, you know, you're thinking that a player is ready to take on a 90-minute game. I mean, it was his first start for Man United yesterday, and like, it's unfortunate for him, because we need to not forget that this guy he's a 33, 34-year-old. You know, he's not going to catch up at the pace of the league. He's no Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You know, and it's unfortunate for him, because I think he's much better coming off on the field, you know, in the second half, when a lot of the defenders are much tired. You know, there he can get a bit of a, you know, a two-step forward than the defenders. You know, he can be a bit quicker. So it's unfortunate for him, because I think he shouldn't have started yesterday. I mean, bringing on Greenwood, and he scores the brilliant goal that he scored.
No, Greenwood was actually in starting.
I mean, Rashford,
Yeah,
also,
Rashford,
you know,
yeah,
coming
Rashford,
on and
yeah.
also, you know, doing the most in that side. I really think, you know, for him, it's a big problem, because he shouldn't be starting these games. I mean, he doesn't have that energy to be, you know, keeping up with what's going on in the Premier League.
knows. I hear you. I believe in what you're saying. I really do agree with you. My thing is, Bruno Fernandes is sapping confidence from everyone around him. There's rumors that are coming out that they're gonna double his wages.
I saw that, yeah.
He complained about Rashford, say you don't miss chances like that. He's a guy that right now on the pitch, he's being a bit of a, you know, I'm the man, I'm the club right now. Because if you look at how Martial missed midweek, then Rashford misses this week, in the weekend. A week ago, I said that this guy's presence in the team is sapping confidence out of the forward players. Because every time you look in positions where the forward players should be, that's where this guy's popping up. And that's what's killing those forwards. I mean, the day he gets injured, that's when they will see the damage that Bruno Fernandes has done to their team. Because you can't have an attacking midfielder that plays in the position of the strikers, because he's sapping confidence from those players. And the day you do need those players, Martial started that game next to Cavani, but he couldn't get a goal. You understand? Because the confidence is now gone. He's missed two sitters from the weekend and midweek. And then you see him and you expect him now to all of a sudden have his shooting boots on, when everything is about Bruno Fernandes. The show is about Bruno Fernandes. Even Pogba is now complaining, saying, I can't even run now anymore. You know, like if you look at the news articles around Man United at the moment, it's a team around this guy, and everybody around this guy has a problem. And it's not about him. They don't have problems with him. They have problems in and around him. Like, I have a problem with the fact that I can't run. I have a problem with the fact, once he gets double wages, his ego's gonna grow. There's no way he's gonna be chilled, relaxed with double wages. I mean, that's the club saying you are Man United.
That's definitely the club, you know, saying that you are Man United. I mean, like, the hype already around him was a lot. I mean, it was a lot, and what he did between, you know, his introduction to Man United's team from mid
and that's
season.
you see what you say. That's what the article said.
Yeah, you know, like, his contribution between that time and, you know, towards the end of the season was a very big one. But nonetheless, he's still not bigger than the team. And that's unfortunately what they're doing at Man United. I mean,
They're letting him be.
They're letting him be bigger than the team. And when you have egos like Paul Pogba in that team, you have Anthony Martial, you have big egos in that team, and you're going to let Bruno Fernandes, you know, be on top of them. It's going to be a big problem for him.
It's destroying that in and around that midfield. And if you look at some of if you look at Man United's assists and goals, where they're coming from, Matic also came off the bench to get himself an assist. So you're looking at those names that are quite forgotten in the changing rooms of Man United. They're coming on and they're doing the key jobs. And it's one of those things that I feel like Ole needs to start recognizing.
Look, of that game yesterday, one thing I'm very disappointed about was that VAR call to allow that first goal to actually stand, because that ball was clearly out, you know. And I'm not saying that Man United were not going to win that game, because they did look very impressive in the second half. They looked much better than what they did in the first half. And I think Man United at this point, you know, like, Juan Mata gave a very good performance yesterday. You know, he carried the ball in and out that midfield. Yeah, so, you know, these players, like you're saying, they are coming in and doing the small jobs, and, you know, it's just a matter of time, like you are saying. When Bruno Fernandes finally gets a hamstring or something of that sort, you know, something's going to keep him out for a couple of days.
Then you'll see.
They will see that, you know, this is the way we should
I
play.
hope happens when that happens. United performs a lot better. So now I've promised you the live match tracker, and I've gone on and on about what's happening in the Premier League. Let's go see the live match tracker. Let's see what's happening between Tottenham Hotspurs and Arsenal. So this is the website. It's superbets.co.za. If it's your first time joining us and coming here, this is basically how you get to the live match tracker. You go to live betting there at the top, there with the greens, and then you click on live betting. Once you arrive there, and then it's going to show you all the games that are currently playing. So you can choose different sports. You can do basketball, netball, handball. I mean, Teb's now a big fan of ping pong because you can put your money on ping pong as well. But it's going to show you all the different leagues. So we can see a live match tracker for League 1 just under the Premier League. So it's also showing you what's happening in the second division of Spain. And Schalke, and right now Leverkusen's 1-0 still for Leverkusen. Schalke looking like they might not recover. But let's see what's happening. Tottenham Hotspurs leading Arsenal 2-0. Yo, my FPL right now. Bert Leno is there in my pile is also, because I couldn't put Rui Patricio in there. But let's talk about what's happening in this game. So the live match tracker, for those of you joining us for the first time, it's all about the location of the ball. So it shows you where the ball is, basically where the team is in terms of their attack. It shows you see the arrow, the darker side of the pitch is an arrow. It shows you the direction of the play, and it shows you the direction of the play there at the top with the blue. It tells you what team is in possession by saying Arsenal there at the top, and it shows you if they're attacking. If they're in their own half, it says the ball is safe because they're knocking it in their own half. That's basically because the game, the live match tracker interprets the game in two phases, which is basically build up, basically ball safe, attack, dangerous attack. So dangerous attack is in that final third. So looking at the possession stats, we need to see basically how is this happening? How is Arsenal behind by a whole 2 goals? So even at halftime, this was all done in the first half. So we're looking at the possession stats right now, where the arrow is, and as you can see, 63% of the possession sitting with Arsenal, only 37% with Tottenham Hotspur. So definitely something to worry about in that case. Let's scroll down and see the attempt on goal, 4 each for both sides, and then 3 basically going to Tottenham, while only 1 on target for Arsenal. So Arsenal also all asking 4 questions, only 1 of them is on target. Tottenham Hotspurs, all we know, is a team that we know right now to be very balanced in terms of their options. I mean, they're not playing the likes of Dele Alli, but they still have the most dangerous number 10 right now in the league with Harry Kane. And as a Harry Kane, we're seeing it from a different light. I mean, it's not the same Harry Kane we know from the previous seasons.
Yeah, look, I think one thing about this game, I mean, it's classic Jose Mourinho. He doesn't want the ball. He'd rather have Arsenal, make the mistakes. And it's classic Jose Mourinho. I mean, like, people were always complaining about his style of football being boring and all of that. But look, without Dele Alli, he plays Ndombele behind. He plays him as the number 10 in that team, actually. So that actually gives Harry Kane that ability to sink a bit deeper, because Ndombele, obviously, he's going to want to dominate things in the middle. So those 3 in the middle, along with the Sissoko and occasionally could be Harry Winks, that 3 in the middle is it's a midfield 3 that is very compact. And well, one thing they do is to shift the ball very quickly to the sides. That's where you find your Song Heung-min. You could find a Bergwijn out wide as well. But they give space to Harry Kane to be able to create, those chances as well, to be able to pull out the pass. So I think Jose Mourinho now has a very, very well-structured team. I think they're very dangerous at this point, and they are obviously the title contenders, because with this win, they jump to the top of the table.
Well, most definitely. And don't forget that both these sides in the European competition have secured their passage to the knockout phases, basically the last 32 in terms of the Europa League. Tottenham Hotspurs, we're facing Antwerp midweek, basically on Thursday, when they come now play the last game of the group stages in the Europa League. So basically, both these coaches had a reason to win this game, because they don't need to worry about what's happening midweek, because it's already secured. But as you can see, Arsenal will be asking more questions of Arteta than they ever asked before, because they were complaining about their previous coach based on what the performance of the coach was. But looking at the stats at the moment, it looks like Unai Emery was doing a little bit of a better job than what Arteta is doing. But don't forget that Arteta won those 2 trophies in a space of 30 days, and we can't just overlook that. So now let's go on for the break, and when we come back, we'll definitely be going to look at the fixtures, how the league table is looking, and then we'll make a bet slip live on air so you know how to put a bet slip together. Don't go anywhere, you're watching More Sport.
16 days of activism against gender-based violence means absolutely nothing without action or change. The change should come from us, South African citizens. Let's protect our most vulnerable, women and children. Care for those who nurture us.
Gender-based violence does not discriminate. Any person of any race, age, sexual orientation, religion, or gender can be a victim or perpetrator of GBV. We know the abusers. They live in our communities, in our homes. There's no excuse. say no to gender-based violence.
Super TV,
Super TV
says no to gender-based violence. Superbets is breaking all the rules for you. Play sports, numbers, and horse racing without using your data. SMS data free to 30978 to start playing. Bet with the biggest. Bet with Superbets.
Welcome back to More Sports. So now, to join our little family, you need to SMS Supa TV to 30978. The reason being, is once you've done that, you can go on the website like we do and start playing like the most, playing your odds. You can play the games, you can play live games, virtual games, you can put basically, you know what I'm saying? You can put your money on the soccer, the Champions League, the goal scorers. We'll show you all that and more in this segment. But before we go on to do that, small business left. We need to check out what's happening in the Premier League table. So let's go to the website and let me show you what's going on. As you can see, Chelsea sitting number 1, very nice and beautiful, looking very sexy up there. 25 goals scored, putting them at the number 1 most dangerous offense in the league. As you can see, Tottenham sitting number 2 with 21 goals scored. Leicester is sitting number 3 on the table, 21 goals scored as well. But Leicester sitting there with the game with 11 games played. Tottenham sitting there with 10 games played. So when they pick up this win against Arsenal, they'll definitely be going back to their number 1 spot. Liverpool also need to pick up 3 points if they still want to be in the conversation for the title. But don't forget, they're not playing any other team. They're playing Wolves. Wolves are sitting at number 10, as you can see with them. Also 10 games played, 5 won, 2 drawn, 3 lost, 11 goals scored, 11 goals conceded. So that should worry them in terms of how that looks. But looking at their form as well, they've won 3 and they've drawn 2 and lost 1, and they haven't actually won these games in succession, which means their form is not very consistent. I mean, to be a title contender or be contending for Europe, even Europa League and the Premier League, you need some form of consistency. We go to the bottom of the table. Fulham now sitting at 17th. Don't forget, as the season started, Fulham looked like they were not the team that could actually challenge for anything in this Premier League season, but now they're actually looking like a team that's got their things together, all their toys in the Prem. So as you can see, they're sitting there on 7 points, still pending Burnley's game. So if Burnley loses that game, then Fulham are out of the relegation zone finally. But if they don't, and Burnley actually picks up 1 point or 3 points, because the goal difference will be in their favor. But if Burnley managed to pick up 3 points, they will be going back into that relegation zone. And look at that, Brighton just above the relegation zone at 16, but they have 10 points on the board. The nearest team to them basically is Fulham, but don't forget Brighton also have a game in hand, so that's not a quick reflection of what's going on in terms of the relegation battle. Let's move out of the relegation battle, go to the fixtures and see how's it going.
How do you leave the relegation battle without mentioning these cats over here?
Arsenal leads. I can't mention Arsenal leads because Arsenal is losing right now, and if they lose, they stay at 13 points, which means they just also 6 points away from the relegation zone. So Obi knows, you make a good point, but Leeds is also sitting there, and they just lost to Chelsea. Bielsa must be worried about what's going on here, but let's go out of here and see the fixtures. So once we've seen the fixtures, then we can start talking about our bet slip, basically for this week's Champions League. I wanna see how we think it's gonna go, because a lot of finals are taking place in the Champions League. Obi knows this is still the table. We need to see the fixtures. Let's move on to fixtures. Let's scroll down. As you can see, not a lot of wins coming through. Man City picking up 3 points, United picking up 3 points, Chelsea picking up 3 points. Today, Crystal Palace, Leicester City picking up 3 points against Sheffield and West Brom respectively. But Tottenham Hotspurs and Arsenal, as you can see, the odds were in Tottenham Hotspurs' favour anyway. 220 cents with 325 cents for Arsenal to pick up all 3 points, which was a far-fetched result because the draw was at 340. Now, Liverpool versus Wolves, as you can see, 156 cents for Liverpool to pick up the result, while 570 cents for Wolves is something that makes me wonder, why are the odds so high against Wolves? Like, why is the odd maker saying Wolves not going to pick up the result, but they form
Well, the form is one thing to look at, but we also need to take in consideration that they're coming to Anfield without Raul Jimenez, and that's their key source of getting the goals.
But Pedro Neto has taken out that batting quite well.
Yeah, well, look, they've only played a half. They've only played a half, literally, without him, you know. And I think going into a game against Liverpool, you are going to need somebody who will be destructive in the middle for those centre backs, you know. Yes, of course, they can try and, you know, go for Liverpool in between the areas, between a place where, you know, you'd find Trent Alexander-Arnold and the right centre back. You know, obviously they might try and exploit that area where Pedro Neto will be playing. But I think at this point they will still need someone who can be able to, you know, work out some magic and get a goal for them. And unfortunately, Raul Jimenez is not in this game for them. And they will be, obviously, they'll be looking, you know, for another option on the bench, which is Fabio Silva. But he's not looking very promising. He is, like I did mention yesterday, he was the next Ronaldo. But we'll see how that pans out for them. But at this moment, I do understand why the bookmakers actually have them with 570 cents. They don't look like a team that's going to come with a lot of confidence to Anfield.
Well, that's one of the narratives. But the other narrative is that Diego Jota left Wolves and is now banging goals in behind the net. So did they miss him yet? They should miss him. Let's go to the website. Obi knows, prepare us for the main page as we get ready to do the bet slip. Well, I want us first to, before we do the bet slip, if possible, can we do the Mo riddle now? And then we'll do the best slip after the Mo riddle, because I don't think we'll have enough time to do the best slip, then go to the Mo riddle. Okay. So if possible, let's what was the Mo riddle again? So this man played in over 400 games in the top flights of English football. Yeah. He played in the 2010 Confederations Cup against Brazil for America. Who is this man? I said Clint Dempsey.
You still don't think that?
It can't be Landon Donovan.
It's not Landon Donovan.
Oh wait, there's a goalkeeper. There's a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper that used to be the goalkeeper of Everton. I forget his name, but let's see the picture here. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. Yes, Tim Howard. Ooh, child.
Took you long enough, my brother.
My brother, the thing is also when I was thinking about it, I was like, but a goalkeeper is the only kind of person that, you know what I mean, has to be a mainstay in a team. And I was like, Clint Dempsey moved on between Tottenham and the reason why he didn't mention clubs was because this man played for Everton for a long time.
He played for Everton.
So let's move on to the website. Let me show you how to put together a best slip. Obi knows. Let's go to the homepage on the website. Homepage, please. And then let's scroll down and let's see basically by soccer. Wait, hold on. Let's go UEFA Champs, because the weekend's fixtures are definitely done at this point.
You can still bet on Liverpool to win.
Champions League, huh?
You can still bet on Liverpool to win.
Okay, let's go to soccer and bet on Liverpool to win, because Obi knows wants to do that. He's thinking it's easy money. So let's see if it's easy money for real. So we go there. Let's see Liverpool versus Wolves taking place at 9:15 tonight. Obi knows, put your money where your mouth is.
The odds have changed as well. But
yeah, 55 cents. Well, okay, cool. Put 10 rand on it. Now, look at that. We can just click on 10 rand there with the button now. The bet, and then continue.
Okay, so we're making a single bet.
And then continue. Oh, we haven't logged in, so log in to continue, please.
All right.
You should, yeah, just quickly.
Oh, not username.
Username, Supermo. Oh, gosh, look, that's how you log in, guys. Press continue for us, please, Obi knows.
Doing.
And then press OK. Now, let's go down back to the Champions League. You can go first to the top where it says England Premier League. On the far side, there's an arrow. Far side, there's an arrow. Click on that arrow. Click on that arrow. Let's close this up. Now, let's scroll down and find Champions League, because the moment we click on Champions League, it's going to stack them on top of each other. So it's best we close the one. Scroll beyond soccer. And then let's go to UEFA Champs. Let's go to Champions League. Let's go to matches. When you see it says winner there. Winner is basically saying you can still pick a winner overall of the tournament, but we still think it's too soon. Yeah, let's wait for January or at least Christmas. Lazio versus Bruges, not interested. Barcelona versus Juventus, Obi knows. I want to give the money to Juventus, please.
You want to give this win to
I want to give this money to Juventus, please. Obi knows doesn't trust. Put the 10 right there, please.
What happened to the buttons now?
No, the buttons are called because now we are logged in. Now we are members. Press continue, please. Press continue and press OK. Because this is the pen. We have to see if Mo was right or wrong. We'll see it with either green light or a red light on Monday, on Wednesday when you log in. And then Chelsea, Krasnodar.
Obvious.
Funny thing, did you know that this team that's playing Dynamo Kiev, they call it Fradi. Ferencvaros, they call it Fradi. Is the team that is out of Hungary and is actually owned partly by the government after they got a couple of other foreign coaches and they were like, we don't want. So this team,
it's a royalty team.
It's a royalty team. It's representing the Hungarian side because even the president is a bit involved in this. I mean, the prime minister is a bit involved in that team. So that team is representing a whole national side. And with this Champions League season, the money will be able to go back to this team and they'll be able to help their grassroots football improve in their native country.
One thing I've realized with this team is that they're really not a bad side. They gave Barcelona a run for their money. They did lose, obviously, against Barcelona, but they did give Barcelona a run for their money. They did give Juventus a run for their money. You know, I think if they can maintain what they've done last season to get them into the season, we'll see them back next season.
All right, so we have 30 seconds left. We can't finish off that best lip. So thank you for joining us here at Mo Sports. From myself, Mo, I always said Mokomuti_Stitz. Well, I did say it. And from Obi Knows, Obi.knows on Instagram. And the Supa TV team that puts Mo Sports together. It's a very good night.